International Association Trans-Caspian International Transport Road. So let me greet all of you on behalf of the association, its founders and members, and tell about our coordinated work. So, first of all, a few words about the history of creation of our association. In 2014, there was a decision to develop more Caspian route, and a number of countries started to work in a format of coordination committee. Later on in 2016, it was already taken a decision to create one unique operator who will be working on behalf of all the companies on the route. So in the first stage, it was 4 companies who formed this consortium. It is Kyrgyz Express from Kazakh side, ADY Express, GR Logistics and Terminals, and Azerbaijan Caspian Shipping. Later on, to the consortium last year joined as well newly formed company, Azerbaijan Container. And in 2017, it was also needed to be, it was decision to form the International Association with the headquarters in Astana, and since February 2017, the association started to work. The main goals of the association is attracting cargo on the Trans-Caspian International Transport Road or corridor, develop the integrated logistics products where clients will not feel borders and any interruptions, to create competitive tariff prices and assist in all the questions which may appear from the client side. And by the way, we work not only for our members, but also help the companies who want to cooperate and work with us. The association is transparent and open. The tariffs on the road are available and updated on our website. So you see here the logos of the companies, regular members, and as associate members joined more and more companies. So we almost doubled the number of members less than in 2 years period of existing of the association. So who are our members? Currently we join 6 railways, 6 seaports, 2 shippings and commercial organizations. It is 6 railroads: Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Poland, Turkey and Ukraine. Concerning the ports, it is Liaoning port in China, Aktau and Kuryk from Kazakh side of Caspian Sea, Baku Alat from Azerbaijan side, Port Batumi in Georgia, and the newly developing Port Anaklia in Georgia and the Black Sea as well, and 2 shipping companies, Kaspar, Azerbaijan, and Kazmor from Kazakhstan. So what was done here, you have a whole view of the geography of the route, which is also one of the important links in between Europe and Asia. And on the eastern point is Liaoning. And I would also want to mention that at the moment, this is the only one province who gives subsidy to Istanbul. And at the moment, the latest rate, if you transport container in the block train, within block train, the price is for this, it's around 3,000–4,000 taels per 40 equivalent container, which is in fact very attractive for such a long distance, and it's exclusive at the moment with one of provinces in China. What I would also add that at the western part of the road, you see to Turkey we can also use 2 ways to get. It is through Baku-Tbilisi cars and by sea, and other countries of Eastern Europe, and we work on prolonging and developing the lines of the route on the European side. In time period, it is let's say 16 average days to Turkey and Europe, Eastern and Central from China. This is the heart of the route, Caspian Sea, and our members, which are, let's move from east to west, to westbound. Aktau Port, capacity 17 million tons, including northern terminal, these figures, and Port Kurik, which is newly built hub. It's less than 2 years in Kazakhstan, but already working with a ferry line. Aktau now mostly involved in feeder, works with feeder. This year we've tested already first feeder in between Baku Alat and Aktau Port, and around 700 TEUs we transported, and in recent months we hope to again put feeder in order to be diversified and give more service for clients from eastern, with cargo moving from eastern part. Baku Alat has just this year finalized the first stage of increasing the capacity, which reached 100,000 TEUs at the moment. And in fact, the port is ready to increase in capacity more, and it is two next stages which are ready and will reach, if need be, and cargo flow will be increasing fast, up to 1 million TEUs. Batumi Seaport is 18 million tons. It's already known. I would not stay there for long. And regarding shipping at the Caspian Sea, Azerbaijan Caspian Sea Shipping Company is the oldest one with a long history, and it is the most respectful partner and at the Caspian Sea. And their fleet, of course, is out of competitiveness with all the diversity and newly buying boats fleet. Kazmortransport is a Kazakh company, national sea carrier, and it's pretty young but very active, and with the barges they will also be servicing our route. So at the moment we are concentrated on developing the container trains. It's focus, because this route, in fact, not as an informative route, but existed even from Soviet period, and cargo was flowing. But at the moment, all the ports who used to mostly be working with the oil products, and now transforming and being more and more efficient with the container operations. So I would say, in figures for 9 months, we doubled container traffic in comparison with the same period of last year, and we hope that we will reach 15 in this year by the end of 2018, and we have very ambitious plans to reach by the end of 2020 a very big increase. And what about future plans? I would also pay your attention at the successful story with the transit cargo from China to European Union, which is a bigger part of our flow at the moment. It is 2-3 block trains per month with tomato paste from Western China to Italy. And currently they have a new harvest, and we hope that we will reach 3-4 black trains per month in close future. And also here's some figures and information about the traditional cargo export trade from Kazakhstan. It's oil products, it's grain, but before Baku-Tbilisi cars was constructed, there were no in the history transporting of grains through the Caspian Sea, for example. Also, we work in tough connection with Poland colleagues at the moment, and think to transport products, food from European Union to China, because China is now the consumption is rising and starts more and more buy from Europe. Romania and also is one of the links of the road also has to be mentioned. So thank you for the attention. Now I will give word. We will also move like cargo from east to west. So Gauhar Tabelova, it is KTZ Express operated daughter company of Kazakh Railways and part of our consortium. Thank you.
Good day to everyone, and thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. And thank you for the organizers, for the TITR Association, for giving us this chance to have a speech and represent you, our projects within the Trans-Caspian route. Okay. As my colleague from the Association of the Middle Corridor told you already, there is association working, and there is also the operational part is done by the consortium called International Trans-Caspian Transport Consortium. The consortium is represented by the logistics and ferry operators from Kazakhstan, which is us, KTZ Express, Azerbaijan, ADI Express, ADI Container, and ASC Logistics, which is ferry operator in the Caspian Sea, and of course Georgia, GR Logistics and Terminals. My colleagues from Azerbaijan and Georgia are already here. They will be having a speech lately. Okay, this consortium mostly having worked with the operational and logistics issues within the Trans-Caspian route. It was established in 2016. The ITTC consortium is open to use the railway fleet and seaport infrastructure of the rail administrations and ferry operators, which are members of the Middle Corridor. It accounts for almost 70,000 railway fleet, 40 units of marine fleet, which is ferries and dry cargo ships, and 2 million of warehouses and terminals across 5 countries, 10,000 kilometers of rail network, and 10 seaports. The consortium provides services such as rail transportation, including RoRo service in the Caspian Sea and Black Sea, sea and road transportation, terminal and warehousing services for general, oversized, and other specialized cargo. Our specialists from all the logistics operators across these countries can help you with the full support from initial consultations up to releasing the cargo at the destination points. Okay, as my colleague from Association already told, we are developing new routes and logistics solutions within the Trans-Caspian route for improving transportation of goods between the largest trade markets. Therefore, Trans-Caspian International Route, mostly known as Middle Corridor, is now one of the important links in the Eurasian transport system. It has already gained the commercial advantage, which is speed. Speed is about 13 to 14 days offered to customers for transporting container block trains from East China to Turkey. And secondly, we have competitive fixed rates, which already also was told, and you can observe on the TITR Association website. And of course, we should know that the countries and the operators and all the railway administrations, they're heavily investing in the infrastructure of this route, and the investments amounted to more than 10 billion, which are in investments in constructing new railways, roads, modernizing ports, even creating a new port, which is Kuryk in Kazakhstan. This provides quick access to the Trans-Caspian route from China and Central Asia. To speak about East China, Kazakhstan and China, represented by Kazakhstan Railways and Askhikated Express in the port of Leningrad, has established a joint terminal network in the port of Leningrad in the east coast of China in 2014, with a total area of almost 22 hectares. The terminal consolidates traffic from China and Southeast Asia towards Kazakhstan and Central Asia, as well as the Turkey and further to Europe. This cooperation provides direct access to the world's oceans, seas for Kazakhstan's export and transit cargo flows. Not only Kazakhstan, but the countries along the route. Further, to go on this logistics route, we have on the border with China the special economic zone Argos Eastern Gate, with a total area of over 4,500 square meters for logistic and industrial businesses. We already have projects which account for $107 billion within the special economic zone. These are the main projects ongoing in the special economic zone. And within the special economic zone, we have a dry port, Portos, which handles the cargoes from China towards Kazakhstan and further Europe, Turkey, Central Asia, whatever destination it is. And the special economic zone and dry port, they contribute to increasing the traffic volume in transit towards all the routes, including the middle corridor. To talk about the infrastructure improvement in the countries along the route, we also have terminal infrastructure developed in Kazakhstan. We already have good examples of logistics terminals in Astana and Shymkent. These are up-to-date terminals in different ranges of Kazakhstan. For now, it's just Astana and Shymkent, but we try to develop such terminals in every region, including Mangistau region of Kazakhstan, where the Caspian Sea is. Here, the key link in the Trans-Caspian International Transport Corridor is development of port infrastructure in the Caspian Sea. We already modernized Aktau port, and we have also northern terminal in Aktau port, which creates the competitive advantage of the port and gives additional capacity to Aktau port area up to 19.5 million tons per year. Also, last year we started and this year finished the establishment of a new port, Kuryk, also near Aktau in the Caspian region. In total, two ports create up the capacity of marine infrastructure of Kazakhstan up to 26 million tons per year. Here, we have a good example of the regular service we have. The details were already provided by my colleague Leila from the association, and the rates you can get again from the website. Just to speak, we have established a successful regular service from Kazakhstan to Turkey. Destinations are Istanbul and Mersin through the middle corridor. For example, we have cargo going from northern region of Kazakhstan to South Turkey, and now we have regular service backwards from Mersin to Kazakhstan. And we have a full container train going, dispatching from Mersin to Kazakhstan via this route every Friday, so on a weekly basis. Okay. And we have a wide network of partners and agents on this route and in China. So we can observe these are just several of the partners, and I believe that the network will be a bit more large. As you can see, the Trans-Caspian route is gaining a competitive advantage over the years. Together with Azerbaijani, Georgian and Turkish partner, the corridor, the middle corridor or Trans-Caspian route is constantly developing, and we are all together working on improving the service. We already came to this expo, and we can observe that there is an increasing interest in this route. We are really happy to provide you the details on this conference for this route. And we also have a stand there, joint stand for the middle corridor. So if you have more questions, you can come to see our operational managers to answer all your questions in detail. Thank you very much. And let me pass the word to my colleague from Adi Express, Elchin Ahmadov.
Thank you, Hazar. Dear ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward from east to west. I represent Azerbaijani Railways, which is which formulates the main transportation process in our country for the coming years. Just to give you a brief information about our geographical location for those who don't know, we are located on the crossroad of the main transport corridors east-west and north-south, and the vantage geographical location that we have, outdated and continuously operating infrastructure that we build creates favorable opportunities for Azerbaijan to be transformed into the main logistic hub in the region. Let's move forward. Since we're going from east to west, the first company represented in the middle corridor is Azerbaijani Caspian Shipping Company. The history of this company dates back to the year 1858, and recently Azerbaijani Caspian Shipping Company celebrated its 160 years of activity in the market. So for many years, the company was continuously upgrading its fleet, but after merging with oil fleet of State Oil Company, today Azerbaijani Caspian Shipping Company considered to be the largest marine infrastructure in the region, and of course the availability of several ships like tankers, ro-ro, dry cargo ships and ferries enable Caspian Shipping Company to somehow continuously increase the freight turnover in the Caspian Sea. But given the information that we have heard so far, the middle corridor is continuously growing, and we see the interest towards the improving of the transportation throughout this Trans-Caspian route. So that is why Caspian Shipping Company recently signed a contract for construction of 2 unique ferries. Why these ferries called to be unique? They are capable to transport 100 passengers, 56 wagons or 50 trucks at the same time, and of course with availability of new generation ferries, we also highly ensure that we manage to meet the standard expectation of the cargo owners. The new Baku International Sea Trade Port, being the largest port in the Caspian Sea, highly contributes to the entire image of Azerbaijan as a transition hub. The new port located 70 kilometers southwest of Baku, and its area is about 400 hectares, but additional 440 hectares with further extension to 2,000 is also envisaged for the future plans. And as you can see from the phase development plan and the cargo handling numbers, Azerbaijan considers to see its port as a unique infrastructure facility that not only contributes to, that not only meets cargo owners' expectations, but brings sort of a value added to entire concept of logistics process. That is why Azerbaijan hired world's biggest port operator, DP World, to create a free trade economic zone in the territory of new port in Alat. As you know, free trade zones creates favorable opportunities for increasing foreign direct investments in the economy of any country, and from that perspective, this new free trade zone in Azerbaijan can highly contribute to the promotion of Made in Azerbaijan initiative, which is a kind of key factor for promotion export of the country. And now let's move to Azerbaijani Railways, which I represent. Our history also dates back to the year to the end of the 19th century, and we built the first railway line between Baku, Tbilisi and Batumi was built in 1883, and the line connected two seas, somehow forming a corridor at even that time. But after successful renovation of the rolling stock and with continuously improving the infrastructure of Azerbaijani railways, we plan to somehow in the future to meet all necessary requirements and somehow to build necessary kind of a platform to meet cargo owners' expectations. Baku-Tbilisi-Kars so-called Iron Silk Road is the project initiated by Azerbaijan many years ago, and as you see from the map, this new railway line will ensure the proper connection of Trans-Asian and Trans-European railway networks, thus somehow contributing to revitalization of historical Silk Road. The new railway line was launched on October last year, and already about 3,000 containers have been moved through this railway line, and several test wagon transportation of metal and grain have been also fulfilled. So with all kind of these activities, as you see, like our country being an active participant of the middle corridor, we highly open for any kind of communications and discussions. We also represented the stand here. Of course, you can approach middle corridor stand. Any particular issues, you can approach our corridor. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention and pass the floor to my Georgian colleague, Ketan Kundat from Georgian Railways. Thank you.
Georgian Railways and our forwarding company, Georgia Terminals and Logistics. Before I start to speak about middle corridor, just 2 words about Georgia. Yeah, so what makes Georgia special and what makes me proud to talk about this, it's geographical location and trade agreements we have with China, we have with EU countries, we have with Turkey, with CIS countries. It makes the country more interesting for investment. It makes it interesting for import and export. So this environment helps us to develop trade relationship as well as logistics services in the country. So the middle corridor, my colleague said that we're moving from east to west, and in future we'll be happy that Turkey also will be presented here in our panel presenting their part. What makes it unique for us, it's a huge trade flow between China and Turkey. And I was just coming from Shanghai, from Expo, and this Expo was initiated, was part of Belt and Road Initiative. And we understand that this corridor is very important alternative in this initiative. And again, back to trade between Turkey and China, we understand that it's a huge volumes, but mostly moving with the sea. And the corridor is a very good alternative in terms of lead times. We can provide the service in a shortest period of time, and here we can see that instead of 40 days, we can provide it in 15 days. So connecting again China with Turkey. But middle corridor is not only connecting China with Turkey, it's also connecting Europe with China. And here we have two main roads which we are going to develop. One is connection with Ukraine and further to Poland. And another is connection to Romania and then further to Austria and Germany. Georgian Railway has a partner in Germany, it's a DB, and which is also represented in China, DB, and as well as in DB Romania. So we will work with them also in addition, together with association and as a member of Association Georgian Railway as well. Okay, this is a little bit ambitious, but we believe that we need to set a big goals to reach some results. So we don't consider a middle corridor as a just connection of, let's say, Caucasus region with China or EU with China, but all overall, we think that it has a huge potential. Of course, it's a matter of egg and chicken. We need to start running block trains and see how cargo owners will start jumping on it. And we think that if when we start running block trains, it's not only Leningrad, because Leningrad is a partner of association, but there is also big interest in other regions of China. Recently we were visiting, Georgia was visited by Ningxia region from China, who is also interested to obtain subsidiaries to run trains to Turkey for China. So we look at the big picture, and we think that it has a big potential in future. And according to our kind of rough estimation and understanding that at some point a southwest corridor can be opened, we think that it may run about 50,000 containers per week. Okay, now a little bit about, I will speak about Georgian Railway, our forwarding company, and generally about the policy of Georgia in the transportation area. Historically, I think that most railways in post-Soviet countries were transporting bulk commodities. But now we understand that today's priority is a container transportation, and Georgia, as well as all members of association, understand that the container transportation is the future of our corridor. Understanding that China also puts more interest in the container transportation. So that's why for our country, for Georgian Railway and our forwarding company, priority is container transportation and railway-based multimodal transportation. And of course, I already mentioned it's a block trains, because if we don't have a block trains, it will be very difficult to attract customers. It's easier when the cargo owner understands that every Friday or every Tuesday we have a train connecting to destination. Interest will be growing, and we will get more and more customers. So just briefly, I will not go into details, but it shows that Georgia is still a transit country. So if we look at the volumes in 2017, so about 50% of our volume is transit goods. Plus, we observe a kind of a slight increase in volumes, if we exclude oil transportation. And here I show how container transportation is increasing in Georgia. And we can see also container transportation from China. And these figures show actually my colleague Leila was mentioning about transportation of tomato from China to Italy. So in 2018 we have this increased volume, actually tripled comparing with the previous year. And we're proud of it. And we hope that we will work more in this direction. Okay, that's a kind of scary file, but it just shows that my colleagues was talking a lot about the infrastructure, and we believe that our capacity of infrastructure is more or less ready. We have a slight kind of bottleneck in Georgia because it's a mountain country and we have a gorge area, which for now it's a bottleneck, but Georgian government invested money into that, and we are doing modernization project. So track modernization project, which will give us possibility to increase the speed in the gorge area and also capacity of infrastructure. And it's already 80% of the project is done, so we believe that by 2020 it will be opened. And my colleague from Anaglia Seaport is not present here, but I will talk a little bit about that. It's actually 2 words, because this project will give us possibility to attract more cargo, because it's a deep sea port, it has a big capacity, and being ready on the and it is connected to the railway as well. When I had some meetings and we speak about transportation in Georgia, very often people ask me, what about the border crossing? We have some issues, it takes more time and it's kind of complicated, but for several years, I can say that for 5 years if not more, Georgia has developed electronic customs procedure, so this process may take several hours, and you can even prepare the documents in advance knowing that your cargo is on the way. So this makes it more easy, as a process of customs more easy and flexible. And plus, we have on 2 big stations crossing to Azerbaijan, we have stationary X-ray scanners for containers and wagons. And the 2 big projects which government of Georgia is interested in developing, it's having a big, it's a future project, but for now we have tenders, and it's development of big logistics centers. Because if we speak about development of the corridor, if we speak about increase of capacity, we need to be ready for that, and the logistics, these 2 logistics hubs will give us a possibility to kind of keep in a warehouse, having a kind of improve the customer services, dealing with the bigger capacities. It's one in Western Georgia and another is in the Eastern Georgia. So it's an upcoming project financed by Georgia government. And very important, Baku-Tbilisi cars, and my colleague from Azerbaijan, by the way, it was very pleasant to hear that you mentioned the project which we had even in 19th century. So we have a long experience of cooperation, running even trains from Baku to Batumi. So that's another very important and successful project financed by Azerbaijan side. And this project will give us possibilities to run train from China or from Central Asia to Turkey and further to Europe. As I represent also our forwarding company, because Georgian Railway is providing railway services, I may also say that we provide door-to-door services. It's including warehousing, customs, and terminal services. And our forwarding company has 2 terminals in Georgia. One is a Poti terminal, which makes us more flexible to receive the goods by Black Sea and then transport by railway. The terminal is connected to the railway. and another terminal is in Tbilisi. So both terminals has a customs status. And here it's just examples of our volume increase. And just two words how it was made possible. In the first graph we see increase of local transportations by GR Logistics and terminals in Georgia. And what is behind is rate policy. Last year we understood that to be competitive, you always need to adjust your prices, and Georgian Railway with GR Logistics fixed the rates in local currency, which gave us really beneficial and good results. And here we have in 2018, that's about this tomato paste from China to Italy, where we see the kind of jumping out up and down, but we see the volume. Yeah, it should be vertical, but we hope that it will be in future, not vertical, but at least increasing. And here we again see the volumes, so main partner Azerbaijan, and we see the volumes of BTK are also increasing comparing with the last year, the sharp increase. So, how we did it? Of course, it's impossible to do it alone, so we did it with our partners who are members of associations, and here I'm presented here as a member of Middle Corridor. So thank you very much. I hope it was interesting. If you have any questions, you can address me. Thank you very much.
You see, we really represent different countries, and in fact we love our corridor, and we develop it with a passion and can describe it for hours and endless. But now it's time to show a short movie about Middle Corridor, and if you have any questions to any of us, please welcome at our common booth at Hall 10. Thank you.
Countries in the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, or Middle Corridor, have set up new transcontinental corridors on the Asia to Europe route. The Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, or Middle Corridor, runs through China, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, through the Black Sea countries and on to Europe. Annual container traffic between Asia and Europe is 22 million, including 500,000 containers between Turkey and China. As trade between those countries is growing, freight traffic is also expected to increase. Thanks to prevailing conditions, the container Nomad Express covers 9,000 kilometers in 14 days, delivering cargo from China to Europe. An intensive policy for the development of dry bulk and container cargo shipping is currently being implemented. Partnerships are being created, in particular with the International Association of the TITR, headquartered in Astana, which includes railway and port authorities, as well as shipping companies in Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, China, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria and Poland. At the same time, work is being carried out to increase the number of participants in the Middle Corridor. Expanding the geographic scope of the corridor facilitates cargo shipments through Ukraine, Bulgaria, Romania and Poland, gateways for railroad transportation to Central and Western Europe. Also, for customer convenience, the consortium of the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route was established. The consortium forwards and handles cargo and runs the entire transportation system. The consortium consists of 5 companies: KTZ Express, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan Caspian Shipping Company, ADY Express, ADY Container, Azerbaijan, and GR Logistics and Terminals, Georgia. To develop the route further, much work has been done and continues to be done to improve infrastructure and create competitive transportation. The TITR countries attach special importance to infrastructure projects. Kazakhstan already operates terminal facilities at the port of Lianggang on the east coast of China, where freight traffic is consolidated. Freight from China to European and Central Asian countries passes through Hormuz, Eastern Gates, a special economic zone on China's eastern border, which plays a strategic role similar to the Suez Canal. It's estimated that total cargo volumes through the zone will reach 4.4 million tons by 2020. To shorten the transport route, new railway lines have been built, providing new transit options through the ports of Aktau and Kuryk on the Caspian Sea. Along with the northward expansion of Aktau port, much work is being done to develop infrastructure and complete construction of Kuryk port. Throughput capacity of Kazakhstan's port infrastructure on the Caspian Sea has increased from 16.5 to 25 million tons, including ferry throughput to 6 million tons, after the commissioning of the ferry complex in the port of Kuryk. On the west coast of the Caspian Sea, construction of the new Baku International Sea Trade Port in Alyat was completed, and the opening ceremony took place on May the 14th, 2018. Initially, Newport will have the capacity to ship 100,000 containers, 15 million tons of cargo, with a further extension to 1 million containers and 25 million tons of cargo annually. In the meantime, a free trade zone at Newport is under construction. Here, residents will enjoy tax, customs and other privileges. To further boost export and transit flows through the Caspian Sea, Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan are developing their ferry and dry cargo fleets. Azerbaijan Caspian Shipping Company currently operates 13 ferries with an annual cargo transportation capacity of 95,000 wagons or 4.5 million tons of freight. Azerbaijan Caspian Shipping Company is also constructing 2 modern ferries, each with a carriage capacity of 56 freight cars. Kazakhstan Railways is building 2 railway ferries to be used on the crossing at the port of Kuryk. In the near future, 2 more vessels will be added to the 2 currently operating dry cargo carriers. Azerbaijan Railways is renovating railways leading to the Black Sea countries. The railroad section from Alyat to Oyuk-Kasik on the border with Georgia, as well as signalling and communication systems, have been upgraded. To improve railroad freight, Azerbaijan Railways has fully renovated its rolling stock and purchased new generation locomotives. These works will be completed by the end of 2020 and result in throughput capacity exceeding 55 million tons. Currently, Azerbaijan Railways capacity is 30 million tons. Commissioned on October 30th, 2017, the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railroad is another major part of the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route. The project, initiated by Azerbaijan, will help reduce tariffs for cargo transportation on the middle route, and so make transit traffic even more profitable and contribute to an increase in cargo volume. Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railroad extends 846 kilometers, 504 kilometers going through Azerbaijan, 263 kilometers through Georgia, and 79 kilometers in Turkey. Initially, the plan is to transport 5 million tons of cargo a year on this line, then 17 million tons, and increasing even further. The Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway is significant in terms of speed, safety and reliability. Providing immediate access to European rail networks, it can deliver goods to European countries with no need to change rolling stock. An extra benefit is that the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway also provides an alternative route to the Mediterranean region through Turkey's Mediterranean ports. So cargo owners can ship goods to Middle Eastern and North African countries through Turkey's Mediterranean. Along with the commissioning of the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railroad, Georgia is upgrading the railways leading to the Black Sea ports and improving the capacity of its own ports. The seaports of Batumi and Poti are being renovated. Construction of a new deep-sea port in Anaklia is also planned. Georgia's seaport capacity enables diversifying cargo deliveries to Europe. All work completed and progress achieved create a solid basis for providing competitive services and speedy and safe transportation of cargoes between Asia and Europe. Today, the International Trans-Caspian Transport Consortium provides clients with a full range of freight services in the Middle Corridor. It includes fast and guaranteed sea and rail transportation, as well as all related services along the route. For customer convenience, the consortium has introduced a one-stop and uniform rate service. So now, shippers and carriers benefit from a new and dependable partner that delivers goods to the end consumer reliably and just in time.
Thank you for the attention and time. Welcome to Middle Korea.